Hello everyone, welcome back to Changfied YouTube channel, your trusted source for latest updates across South Sudan and beyond. Before we proceed, I would like you to help the channel by subscribing, turn on the notification bell so whenever we upload a new video you can be notified. Let's begin our report with SSPDF, South Sudan People Defense Force, break silence on Akobo clashes. The spokesperson of the South Sudan People Defense Forces, Major General Lu Kong, has finally responded to the recent heavy clash in Akobo County between SSPDF and SPLA-IO forces. In a statement shared on his official social media page, the military spokesperson said that the army will not release a full report at this time because the security situation remains unstable. According to the statement, the military cited the fluidity of the situation in Akobo and nearby areas as the main reason for delaying a detailed press briefing. This response comes after several hours of silence during which journalists had reportedly been seeking official clarification concerning the Akobo clash. The fighting was reported to have started early Monday morning at around 5:11 a.m. when SPLA-IO forces launched an operation aimed at retaking the town. According to this information, local journalist by the name Sam Kong of Akobo Peace Radio reported seeing several casualties in and around the military barrack after crossing from Tergol in Ethiopia. Akobo had reportedly remained under SSPDF control since March 2026 after civilian and media workers were evacuated across the border. When SSPDF spokesperson Lu Kong issued an order of evacuation, he told the civilian and the humanitarian workers to leave Akobo within 72 hours. After that, the civilians fled the town. As of Monday afternoon, SPLA-IO also announced that its force had recaptured the town. However, South Sudan People Defense Force has not yet confirmed the current control status of Akobo or the number of casualties. A full military update is expected once the situation on the ground becomes clearer. Let's move on. A court hear expert testimony in Machar case. In Juba, court proceedings continue on Monday in the case involving opposition leader Dr. Riek Machar. A South African digital forensic investigator testified that the March 2025 Nasser attack may have been linked to what he described as a failure in command responsibility. The expert by the name Red Logo Peter Calvin Rafadi told the court that in his professional opinion, Dr. Riek Machar failed to control his forces. However, during cross-examination, the investigator acknowledged that no direct military order were found on Machar devices. According to this report, Peter Calvin further admitted that he was unable to access phone and laptop because the devices could not be unlocked. As a result, no direct digital evidence was extracted from the personal devices. The testimony instead relied partly on communication record and message obtained from co-accused individuals. The defense lawyer challenged the conclusion, arguing that there was no direct evidence connecting to Dr. Riek Machar or to the attack orders. The court has adjourned the hearing until Wednesday, April 15, 2026 for continued cross-examination. Dr. Riek Machar remains under house arrest and faces several serious charges including murder, conspiracy, treason, and crime against humanity, which Dr. Machar's supporter did not agree. They say that this court is politically motivated and Dr. Machar has nothing to do with the Nasser incident. Let's look at this another report. Government urged to strengthen public education. Meanwhile, senior presidential envoy for special program Adu Salva Kiir Mayardit, the daughter of President Salva Kiir, has called for increased investment in public education. According to this report, Adu Salva Kiir Mayardit speaking during a graduation event at Rumbek University of Science and Technology, she said government institutions must be strengthened to support vulnerable learners. And she stated that her office announced the enrollment of 1,500 students under the National High School Sponsorship Program for the 2026 to 2029 period. The beneficiaries include orphans and street children from across the 10 states and 3 administrative areas. The first group is expected to be placed in school between April and early May. Adu Salva Kiir Mayardit stressed that future scholarship program should be supported by stronger public school rather than relying heavily on private institutions. She wanted that public school, secondary school, and universities must be improved to ensure equal access to education for all citizens. The program, launched in February, aimed to provide educational opportunities for disadvantaged youth over the next 3 years. Let me take you back why South Sudan needs dialogue and not more war. Well, it is important for the country to choose dialogue over continued fighting, and why many observers are calling for the release of Dr. Riek Machar as part of effort to restore peace in South Sudan. South Sudan has once again entered a dangerous period of renewed violence. A recent clash in Akobo, another area between SSPDF and SPLIO, have raised fear that the country could slide back into a wider conflict. The United Nations has already warned it about worsening humanitarian conditions and urged all sides to stop the fighting. At the same time, diplomatic pressure has been building for renewed talk. The African Union's high-level effort this month specifically include call for the release of detainees, especially Dr. Riek Machar, and for inclusive dialogue among all parties. The first reason dialogue is important, well, you understand. The first reason is that dialogue is important because peace is important and stability is also important in the country. Because without dialogue, peace cannot be achieved. South Sudan has already experienced a year of civil conflict since independence. Every return to war, more suffering, it will bring more suffering for civilians. When fighting continues between these forces, SPLAIO and SSPDF, it is the ordinary people who pay the highest price, not the leader. Families are displaced, children are forced out of school, business closed, farmers cannot work their land. Hospital and humanitarian services are disrupted. Recent fighting around Akobo has already pushed thousands of civilians across the border into Ethiopia and worsened the humanitarian situation. But who to blame with this? Kir has to blame. This is why many regional and international actors are saying that continued military confrontation cannot be the solution. The second reason is political legitimacy. Dr. Machar remains a key political figure in South Sudan peace process. Whether people support him or not, he remains one of the main signatories and leader connected to the 2018 peace agreement. Several monitoring bodies have warned that his detention and the detention of other SPLIO leaders have severely damaged trust in the peace deal. Without dialogue that includes all major political actors, it becomes very difficult to rebuild national trust. Peace agreements work only when all parties remain engaged. When one major leader is detained and communication break down, suspicion and violence often increase. That is why many international partners, including the African Union and diplomatic mission, have urged the return to talk. The third reason is national unity. South Sudan needs political dialogue because military victory alone rarely solves deep-rooted political division. The conflict is not only about territory, it is also about power sharing, security arrangement, ethnic tension, governance, and election. These are political issues that require political solutions. Guns cannot solve political mistrust. Only negotiation, compromise, and institutional reform can do that. Dialogue creates peace for dialogue creates space for dialogue for discussing ceasefire term, election, power sharing, and security sector reform. These are the real foundation of long-term peace. The first one is the first reason is to prevent another full-scale war or a full civil war in South Sudan. The Security Council and UNMISS have both warned that the security situation has deteriorated sharply in recent months, with fighting at a level not seen since the 2018 agreement. This should be a warning sign for everyone. South Sudan cannot afford another nationwide war. The country is still recovering from previous conflict. Infrastructure remains weak. Many communities still face poverty and displacement. Another war would deepen humanitarian suffering and delay development for years. The fifth reason is the future of the youth. South Sudan young generation need education, jobs, opportunity, and hope. War takes away all of that. Instead of a school being built, resources go to conflict. Instead of development project, communities face destruction. Dialogue gives the country a chance to focus on development rather than war. It allows leaders to prioritize road, school, healthcare, and economic recovery. This is what the people need most. Finally, the release of Dr. Machar, if handled within a legal and political framework, it could help reopen communication channel. For many observers, this is not only about one individual, it is about creating the condition necessary for meaningful national dialogue. The goal should be to reduce tension and bring all parties back to the table. At this critical moment, the choice facing South Sudan is clear: continue fighting or renewed dialogue. Many regional and international voices are now emphasizing that dialogue remains the only sustainable path forward. Thank you for watching. Let us know in the comment, do you believe dialogue can help restore peace in South Sudan? Please like, share, and subscribe for more South Sudan news and political updates. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.